Welcome to the Uncultured podcast. Welcome to the Uncultured podcast. I'm Brother 17.
It's your man H.M. Hersham Bawu. What up? What up?
And it's your man G Fly. What up, though, my babies?
And welcome to episode 70.
This is 70. Episode.
Man. Yeah. Yeah. 70 of these boys.
Wow.
I know, right? It's hard to believe we've done 70 episodes.
Right.
No, it's not. Well, I'm thinking right now, like, because the foundation we laid in the beginning, we was doing like 2 episodes at one point.
Yeah, we were doing. Yeah. Damn. We stopped doing that shit.
Hell yeah, too much. I can see, a lot of people there, not to compare, but they got a lot more success and all that. They do a couple episodes. I could, more kudos to them, but
couple of weeks.
They do a couple of weeks.
Yeah, probably shorter though. Ours is,
Yeah. We get, I guess because I guess some people's full episode be like, what, maybe 40 minutes.
Yeah, like 40 minutes, 45 minutes.
We give a little bit more than that.
I mean, it's kind of hard for us to do a 40-minute show considering how we do it. It's like, because we do the regular conversation and the side conversation and then get way off track and then have to take a detour to get back.
Yep.
So yeah, that's well, we unique.
Yeah.
Somewhat. All right. So look, this is episode 70, and look, we this one is kind of it's a serious show, but not at the beginning, not too much, not at least with this first one. So we're gonna talk about the whole Erykah Badu backlash on social media this week, that people were losing their minds over the fact that her and her daughter took a picture, in the words of Hirsch, posting those yams.
Can I get to the yams?
So people were coming at her saying all types of things, and I don't know if it has something to do with women's empowerment and trying to tell women, trying to give them positive messages of uplifting oneself or whatever and whatnot. And then they criticize her for, taking a picture with her daughter. Now, it was her daughter who posted it.
Right.
It wasn't her. And her daughter's grown.
Things that daughters do, especially around her age.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys think about that, man? What do you say about the fake backlash? Because that's what it is.
Yeah, it ain't nothing behind that. The fact that it's not even her that posted the picture, she just taking a picture with her daughter, having fun, playing around. And then, people do what they do and take it out of context and run with it. And, you supposed to be for the strong women's movement, but women got yams. What's the big deal?
I would see if they ass was hanging all the way out.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they said they thong it out or shit. How a lot of some women be on the internet. They don't have nothing on.
Right.
So, no, man, I think they could be putting pressure on something else than to be doing this, because it's like, man, come on, man. It's other things that go on the internet that y'all could be talking about.
Right.
And you pressing her about this.
Yeah, and we will definitely be addressing some of those within this show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was phony outrage too, as far as like, okay, a lot of the people that I seen complaining, it's like, do you see the picture that you took? Look at your profile picture.
I was just about to say that. like
half naked, right?
a lot of them do that though. There's a lot of women on there that take that same pose.
Exactly.
You know, they
millions and millions of pictures of women doing the same thing. They just pick this one picture to zoom in on it.
I don't get it. I don't get
it at all. Like, what's the big deal?
Listen,
it's stupid. It's stupid to me. It's like, y'all pick and choose who y'all want to holler at about this.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all don't be doing this to everybody else. Not like that. You know what I mean? These I don't know, man. Y'all the same ones probably be sitting there singing WAP.
Right. So, and you praise them for that.
But you know damn well they singing that shit.
Praise Megan Thee Stallion, but then, turn around and say, oh, she taking a picture with her daughter.
I think society would be so much better when people just admit that they're hypocrites.
You can't.
Yeah.
In a way, everybody is.
Yeah.
Everybody is in a way. You can't please everybody.
No.
She ain't tripping. I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm positive she ain't worried about what they
No, she she's out there doing her thing. So
yeah.
Okay.
Well, we see why Andre 3000
all of them. Jay Electronica, all of
DLC.
That's DLC's daughter, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
was it DLC?
Yes, his daughter.
Yeah, that's her first child, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm a married man, I'm gonna keep my comments to myself. And
yeah, I ain't gonna speak on the young yams, but
Oh, I was talking.
I'm not
about
speaking on either yams.
Oh, I wasn't there right. I mean, she is 18. She's 18, so it's nothing. Hey, they gonna call you creepy. I was like, oh, you're fantasizing or fetishing over an 18-year-old. Yeah, last time I checked, 18 was legal. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's legal. Might be creepy, but she's legal. Yeah, and do you say that about the Cougars?
Is she 18 or is she older?
What I saw, she was 18.
Yeah, I think I heard she's 18.
So that's legal.
I mean, what you gonna do is on the internet. You scroll past it. It's just there.
You're right.
I mean, it's a lot.
So this makes for different conversation about what age limit of people should be putting up certain things on the internet.
Okay, well, that's a discussion in and of itself. What is appropriate? When is it appropriate for quote unquote women to post ass shots like that?
Or anything.
When they can legally vote and join the military, they can do what the fuck they want to do. That's what I think.
Yeah. We
had
that
go die for your country. You can post
show some ass.
I can't disagree with that. Well, we talked about it some last week about people saying all kind of crazy shit that they be doing, and it's like,
yeah,
I don't know, man. You can't. You don't like it. Scroll past.
Yeah, it's very simple. It's very, very
I do
simple.
it all the time.
I think people be so triggered and they just feel so, I just gotta say something.
Well, see, that's the good and bad thing. The great thing about the internet is everybody has a voice. The bad part about the internet is everybody has a voice. So it's like,
protect your peace, though. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like if it disturbs you like that, just unfollow her or block it.
Yeah.
So,
but it's a
scroll past.
It's a nice picture, though.
I'm talking about the people that it ain't so nice where they gotta complain about it. You gotta complain about it. It's not that serious. Unfollow her or don't scroll past.
Right.
Yeah, as a man, I have no problems with that picture. So
I gotta say this, man. Just if y'all stop giving attention to these people doing certain things, it might prompt them to not do certain things.
Yeah, right.
People are attention whores.
I mean, that's what most people are on the internet.
So somebody posts something you don't like and they don't get no response from it, they might not do it again.
I mean, I seen somebody make a post about that before, and he was making fun of people who post things on the internet, and then when they don't get a response, he was laughing at them like, yeah, y'all just be on there talking to yourselves. And I'm like, well, you can't control if somebody's going to react to your post. You can't control if someone's going to comment on something you've said or shown. You have no control over that. So it's like,
I think he's more so egging at people like, you thought you was waiting for somebody to give you some type of attention and they didn't. That's what you really egging at. Well, but it's like even with people like sometimes I'm on Twitter and I type something. I'm not looking for somebody to like it or comment. Sometimes I just say I'm saying something, you know what I mean? It's just a thought in my head and I'm just getting it out.
Yeah.
I don't put too much on the internet anyway. So it's not like I'll be telling my business like that.
Right. I mean, the damn thing literally asks, "What's on your mind?" You know, so it's like,
okay, which I only tell a slither.
Exactly.
I ain't gonna tell you everything on my mind. You don't need to know everything on my mind. But, you know.
Can't tell you how much I hate. Blink, 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 bleep, 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 bleep. I'm not gonna go into details. But no, I'd look at it like that too, as far as people have the free will, and plus, you never know. Whatever you might be going through or whatever you might put on there, it might not reach the right person. So people to see it like, oh, this doesn't affect me. But then that message might actually, somebody that might need to hear it, it might affect them. And so it might reach the right person. So it's a gamble with so I just thought that was kind of arrogant of that person to say, "Oh, you just on there talking to yourself, ha ha ha," because don't nobody react. It's like,
no, you're right. It's you got your own tribe on the internet. You got your own audience that agree with what you say or what you post. The thing about it is sometimes, like especially on a platform like Twitter, where it's a whole kind of a lot of array of different people could be following you.
Yeah,
it's like it could be a hit or miss.
And still, just because nobody reacts don't mean it didn't have an impact. People
that's true.
It,
some people read stuff and and they don't do anything.
Just don't
You know what I mean?
Just not active.
They don't they don't like it or comment or do nothing. Which I think that's what people be doing with this. You know what I'm saying? They be listening and like, oh yeah.
That's exactly what it is. I mean, we don't get many comments. I mean, we don't get many comments on our show from some things that we've said, and as much as I'm not gonna sit up here and lie, of course I would like some engagement from people, some feedback, but it also helps that if I see a person in person and they like, hey man, I watched the show, I like it, and it's like that's nice too to get it in person. I mean, I would like to get it so that the algorithm can see that we are getting some engagement, but I'll take it anyway, take it whatever way I can get it.
I heard that a lot.
I understand human behavior to a certain degree. It's just a lot of people not internet people. They on the internet, but they not internet people per se. Meaning they're not active in a way that a person who on the internet all the time would be active, who would like subscribe to stuff and retweet and all that type of stuff. It's older people, more so older people, they don't really do all that like that. They not into it like that. So if they see a video, they looking at the video and they like, they might not even share it. They be in the house looking with other people like, look at this.
Like they like it, but they just
the way they sharing it is.
I don't have to tell everybody I like it just because I like it.
All right, so I'm gonna play this clip from a very unpopular person in Black culture, and but I think she made some good points. I think. I'm gonna let you guys decide.
Man doesn't want a girl that's just going to be naked all the time and put herself out there available for every man to see. You know, that I don't have to be a man to know that that's not what men want, right? If you think that that's freedom, the idea that you have to wear less and the idea that you have to get naked to be heard, you really think that's a form of freedom? Because that's slavery, that's bondage. I didn't have to take off my clothes to be heard in society. And these women will realize that when you follow these people that are, you know, self-imposed feminists, I'm a feminist, I do this, I'm a feminist, you hear that word over and over and over again, you'll find that the majority of them are miserable. Look at their lives and ask yourself a question. Do you think they are happy? Do you feel good when you do what they do? Right? When you're constantly looking for a dopamine hit from social media because you took your clothes off and you want somebody in your comments, you know, a thirst trap with your ass out, right? And you want someone in your comments going, "Oh, you slay bae, you slayed the day, bae." Hashtag Tuesdays, am I right?
Yeah.
Thoughts? Now, how could that possibly like tie into the Erykah Badu thing? Do you think she has a point?
Yeah, she got a point.
Yeah, she's hitting some good points. I mean, I think people do way too much on the internet for attention.
Yeah.
You know, halfway naked, you know what I'm saying? But same as a strip club. What she did say is it's like slavery. I don't see how it's like slavery getting naked, but
yeah, it kind of sounded a little bit like a reach.
It looked like that sounded like a reach, but yeah,
Sound
as
like
far
bait.
as people, right? As far as people, you know, getting naked for likes and shit, and still miserable when they don't get the likes and shit, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what are you trying to get here? What you trying to do?
Attention.
It's definitely a gamble because if you put yourself out, I mean, you literally put yourself out there, and then you don't get the reaction you're looking for,
and that shit's gonna be there forever.
Yeah.
So
that's
put
what
that
I was
out
saying.
there for attention, and now you know.
That's what I was saying last week. I don't think people realize that it's once you put this shit out on the internet, it's gonna be floating around. Now it might not, the algorithm might not catch it,
Right?
And it might not be in the forefront of everything that's out at the moment, but it's still gonna be out there.
Yeah, if you decide to try to change your life in your later years and do something else, or you know what I'm saying, they can always pull that shit up. So
yeah, that's what I was saying last week about the girl from 3LW. You know what I mean? And I try to, you know, to me, it's more like the kids. You know what I mean? I said again, I'm more so like feel for the kids because grown folks got to be accountable for their own actions.
Yeah,
and these kids end up taking a blunt of your actions for what you done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
imagine somebody in your class able to go and look at your mom's anytime they want. They just pull it out.
Or just people, period. You know what I mean?
Jesus Christ.
Your neighbor could be on the internet.
Right.
See everything.
I know what your tatas look like.
Yeah, right.
See, she was right when she said a man don't really care to have to see all that. That's true.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Because why, you you do that, and it's gonna be like, well, shit, everybody else done seen it.
Exactly.
Right. It's like, what's so special for me about me seeing it now? You know.
Yeah.
I think what gets lost is the age-old thing of men kind of, and I don't know how much it's true nowadays, but men kind of used to like the thrill of the chase. Not necessarily saying we liked when women play hard to get, but we kind of enjoyed when you didn't make it easy. Not made it too hard, but men kind of like a little bit of a challenge, and I think some of these women now are just serving it up on the platter saying, hey, come get it, unless you don't have the look.
Right. Nothing left for the imagination.
That's what I was trying to get at. Yeah.
Like, I already know what you look like. I already know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, now it's just if your personality works. If your personality sucks, It's like, oh well, I just seen your body. Well, your
Right.
personality sucks ass, but hey,
it make it hard for them too, whether they know it or not. You know what I mean? Like you gonna want to end up, I hope, talking to a good quality dude, and it's gonna be hard to weed out because you're not gonna be able to realize who is had a good intentions and who don't.
Right. Who just saw your Instagram pictures and trying to fuck.
And then they turn around and come later talking about I can't find a man that wants me for me. Well, they do want you for you because you put your body out there. That's what they want you for. You know, it's
well,
like,
I mean, they ain't gonna want more than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't blame them because you put it out there in front of them.
Yeah.
You know, I'll be shaking my head at these women that be on there and be like, because I do it doesn't mean like, but that's gonna be the reaction. And when you dealing with and you putting it on the internet where you dealing with all kind of different people, and some of these people don't have self-control.
Yeah.
You got to know that. Like you got to know that a lot of these people don't have any real self-control. So yeah, they're gonna see something and immediately they're gonna be in your inbox and the dick pics, and they're gonna be in the whole 9 yards.
But you can't put on the uniform of a stripper and then get mad when they treat you like a stripper or when they show you the level of respect that they would show to a stripper. Then I don't give a fuck about your intellect.
Right.
I don't care about none of that. Yes.
And they gonna sit there and they gonna say, oh, just because of dude, this don't mean you know, because I dress like this don't mean I got.
Yes, it does.
It's like you know the reaction of people. See,
Right.
you gotta understand how other people act and not how you assume that they should act.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's just, you know, if I know it's certain activity go on in a certain area, yeah, I know how they should act. That don't mean I'm gonna go over there and they gonna act like I think they should act. They gonna act how they act.
Yeah, that's the equivalent of. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, especially when you promoting yourself like that, they gonna act like that.
That's almost like trying to go to the red light district, trying to find a wife in the red light district. That ain't what people go to the red light district for. You know what I'm saying? That ain't what people go to strip clubs for. You ain't going there for that. And when you walk around or when you post videos and pictures of yourself like that, that's what you're advertising. You know how many? Okay, I love my wife, but do you know how many beautiful women I see on the internet that are not showing their goods, that are just having intellectual stimulating conversation, and they're beautiful women, but their whole, you could tell, but their whole energy is not, I'm not on that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not on that. And it's like most women, nope, not even about to do that. That's bait. Not even about to say what I was about to say. I just caught myself. So I'm just going to stop right there. Nope, that's bait. Sound like bait.
Don't do it to yourself.
No, because I can already hear they were going to make a, like, how are you going to sit here and say that? You're not a woman. And it's like, yeah, I know. I'm not a woman. But I'm a man who sees women. And this is what I see from women. You know, you can't have it both ways. You can't dress like a whore and then say, don't treat me like a whore. I mean, okay, that's like somebody breaking in your house. You don't want a firefighter to come up to your door. You calling the police. You're not calling the fire department.
Right.
You got to call a person that wear the right uniform for the job.
It simply just goes back to understanding how people act and just understanding the mentality of people.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, in your mind, in your world, you would think people would act a certain way, and that's just not how it is.
Yeah, it's not how they gonna act.
So
reality is
you gotta
reality.
think like, hey, if I post this, if I don't want this kind of attention, maybe I shouldn't post this type of.
All right, or maybe you do want their type of
attention.
If you
do,
and then you get it, and then you realize
they do.
I think they wanted that type of attention and realized it was too overwhelming.
Yeah,
and that's okay because you are being influenced on a daily basis with what you see on the internet. Most people, I mean, people on the internet 24/7. So most people are followers. So if you see Meg Thee
I
Stallion,
tweeted about that earlier.
yeah, you see Meg Thee Stallion, Cardi B dressing a certain way, and if you are following them and looking up to them, you're going to emulate them, or not even just them personally, whoever you're looking up to, you're trying to emulate. Okay, that's just human nature, unfortunately. But yeah, and then you might try it, and then you realize, okay, this isn't for me, and that's fine. You know, you realize, okay, I tried it, that ain't for me, that ain't who I am, that doesn't work well with my personality. But then you get the others who they down for it. So I mean, there's no judgment here. You know what I'm saying? But
if that's what you want to do,
yeah,
that's the type of attention you want, then.
But just it was something that Fly said on the previous episode. You gonna get what come with that,
right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
that's what I was just about to say right now. Like, I mean, everything you do, it come with something. Yeah. You know what I mean, good or bad, and you got to decide whether or not you're gonna be able to take that.
Yeah,
what comes with that. It's just you want respect, you got to move respectful, and you got to look respectful. You know what I mean? Like,
get what you put out.
Like, again, I said it again. Like,
yeah, that works too.
You want things to go a certain way, and that's not how life works. And you dealing with all kind of different people on the internet. And just because you say, "Oh, I feel like I should be treated this way," do not mean they're gonna do it. You can dress like that all you want to, and scream to them about how you want to be respected. You think them niggas is not gonna stop sending dick pics in your DM? They gonna try.
Goes down in the DM.
Yeah, because look, man. Listen, I'm on Twitter all the time, and I be seeing how women be like, "Don't be sending me no dick pic," and it's like,
you finna get this dick.
You see what you posted?
because the way I said it, man. It's people that don't have any self-control.
Right.
They don't have no self-control, and they gonna try. You know, I'm gonna shoot my shot. And unfortunately, they look at it as, if I send this, she gonna like this. And some of them, look, and I ain't trying to talk about nobody's shit, but some people got the nerve to send, whatever they got, and it's like, yeah, she should like this, and it's like, it's crazy. It's just crazy. People don't have self-control. People don't have self-control. Everybody not like you, and you got to understand that.
Yep.
That's why you gotta be cautious of what it is you put out there.
He talking about people sending them Viennas.
They do. Look, and this is for the dudes who do that. Look, man, I advise y'all not to do that.
That's some confidence right there. That's
yeah, married men be on there. Married men be on there.
Hey,
let them tell it.
Let me work this, baby. It work, baby. It work.
I know how to work it though.
For some reason, they shoot their shot because they think they gonna get it in. You know what I mean?
If you got a Vienna, you ain't got nothing to lose. So
you do got something to lose, man. Integrity is not the word, but you lose that. But
your dignity.
Your dignity, that's the word.
Dignity.
You will lose that. I say like this, man, to the dudes that do that, man. Just man, don't put yourself in that position, because you thinking, oh yeah, I'm sitting in his inbox. Look, as soon as you send an inbox, she's open to put that bitch on full blast on the timeline.
Right. Forward it to all her friends.
And that's what I was about to say. That's one of the drawbacks with it.
You know what I mean? Like, but just to go back to the original, it's just understand that everybody's not going to act like you, and they're not going to think like you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to do that, just know what comes with that.
Yeah.
Get what you put out.
Yep. Well, okay. So we're going to shift gears, and now the show's going to get serious. Now it's all downhill from here. So if you only wanted to tune in for the fun, scram. Now it's about to get real.
Scram.
Be the kid.
All right, so like I started last week, we having a segment of just thoughts, like pure, like a good question, like basically like a question of the week, but I'm just It's going to be a thought segment. So I sent this to you guys yesterday in advance because I wanted you to maybe think about how you would respond to this question.
Mm-hmm.
So, and here's the question for the audience. Is it okay to be prejudiced towards white people, knowing the history of everything they done to us as black folks? I don't care which one of you go first. I just want to know what your thoughts on it are, brothers.
I'd say, yeah, that's the correct wording, prejudice.
Yeah, because you saw what was said in the text message yesterday. When so I said, okay, I'll rephrase it.
Yeah, Dario, he corrected it too.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I just wanted,
yeah. I would say, is it okay? Maybe not be okay. You know, if you're if you had a moral compass and want to treat everybody the way you want to be treated, and stuff like that. But do I understand? Absolutely. Who wouldn't understand why people would be prejudiced towards the group of people who's been oppressing their group of people since they've been in the country? You know what I'm saying? So I definitely understand why people would be prejudiced. Black people would be prejudiced towards white people, but okay, I don't think it would be okay.
Okay.
From my point of view.
I don't necessarily think it's okay, but I understand. I'd say this: we already do it, and I think we do it stemming from what's been done to us, though. We used to, certain things we used to gatekeep, and hip hop was one of them. You know what I mean? Where this is why like, if you know anything, Eminem, if you know anything about his beginning, him trying to get on, he had kind of a
it was a rough time.
Rough start.
Yeah, it's rough, but he had some type of resistance going on with
pushback.
With the a predominantly black, the community in a predominantly black art form. And it's basically because of, I know for sure it's stemming from us, you know what I mean, being treated like that. And so it's like, oh, this white boy coming in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is why he still get flack to this day. And it's like, the white boy. Yeah. But, yeah, we do it. We already do it.
So let me expand upon that then.
And it's a difference between being racist and being prejudiced.
Yeah, that's why So, okay, here's a deeper dive into it then. Do you think it's deserved?
Deserved. Yes. I don't think it's.
I would say this. If we go person to person case, it might not be. As a whole, we tend to do it because we feel like it is, because as a whole we look at them as a whole people you done stole everything, done, took credit, did all kind of all kind of, what's the word, atrocity, all kind of crazy shit, in history. And if you look at history gives you you got a whole timeline of shit you done. So it's like you might do it again. So
I know it's touchy.
Yeah, I would say, as far as deserved, I don't know.
No, yeah,
because like they always say, the people of today's society aren't the ones who actually did the dirt. Some of them still do, but for the most part, the white people of today aren't the ones who did it. They just benefiting from it. So do they deserve to be?
I don't. That's not totally true.
Yeah. I know some people still
they
do it. Yeah,
they still keep it going, because if that was 100% the case, then we wouldn't be having these issues still.
Right.
It's these, because they still benefit, and make no mistake, they do all of this off of fear, because they fear of what would the future look like No, more so what the future will look like if they decide to do us right.
Right.
You know, they so comfortable in that position.
Yeah.
It's because I mean, if it's no problem to give black people respect and the dignity that we all deserve, and it's our birthright to have, just like anybody else, then why ain't we getting it? Why it got to be so hard? Why we got to keep having these conversations?
Yeah, because they don't want to give up their position.
No, because if that was easy, man, they in a position they could flick their fingers and they can have legislation and all that shit down to where we straight. We wouldn't be able to be talking about are we gonna get any payback for anything we done? Are we gonna get anything kicked back from the government for and all the shit that's done? We wouldn't even have to have a conversation. It should be done already.
Yeah.
I mean,
I could see that. You know, I guess I give my perspective. Is it okay? Yes and no. It's okay when you prejudice towards me. I'm gonna do it right back to you. Or it's okay. People want to criticize folks for having an eye for an eye mentality. Oh, well, if everybody did an eye for an eye, then everybody would be blind. Well, we're going to be some blind motherfuckers there. We finna be blind. Because I'm not.
I was supposed to just sit back and let you see beautifully while I'm fucking.
So
as we got to set a boundary or make an example. So you can't do that.
Right.
I understand that.
So
nobody, but truth of the matter, nobody should be doing what they doing.
No, but that's the thing. I like, we talked about on different subjects before, and even earlier on this show about people living in these fantasy worlds, or maybe it was off mic, but people live in the fantasy worlds and want to think about how things should be. Well, how things should be, if this was a perfect world, there would be no crime, there would be no racism, probably wouldn't be no death, But unfortunately, that ain't the society we live in.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at with the last topic.
Yeah. So as far as is it okay? Yes and no. I'm 50-50. I'm not going to sit here and say, no, it's not okay. Well, if you come at me with it, I'm going to give you what you've given me. So, yes and no. And as far as the deserved, is it deserved? You damn right it's deserved. It's fucking deserved. And I'm going to say that, and I don't care how controversial it is, because I mean that. From the bottom of my soul, it is deserved. When every time, I'm not a historian, but I'm a history buff. I love reading about history. And don't get me wrong, history is written from the people who conquered, from the people who won. So the history that you're reading may not, in most cases, not be the truth, because only the victors write the stories.
Yep.
But when you look at the history of what they've done in this country, all the people they've eradicated, all the genocide they've committed, all the hell, all the pain if they caused all people of color. Like I always ask people that, it's one common denominator. What happened to the Native Americans? One common denominator. How did us black folks get here? One common denominator. Now I know your other perspective, Fly, about some of us already being here, and I'm not arguing that aspect of it.
I know you more so talk about us, just the part of us being in shackles over here. How that happened?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you look at the Hispanics. Look at what the Spanish did. How they came over and they conquered them. Hell, they virtually erased their language. You learn about what the Aztecs were, but what language do Mexicans speak? Spanish. They are not Spaniards. They speak the language of the conqueror. So you ask me if I say they deserve
religion. Might even had a religion too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So from my perspective, you deserve everything you get. So that's and I know some people will watch this and they like, oh, well, you're just a racist. I'm not a racist.
Well,
I'm a
if
realist because you
they
can't deny history, the history that you wrote.
if they say that, you gotta understand. You gotta have an understanding.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's easy for you to sit there in your position if you know, from the opposition point of view, and you sitting there talking about, oh, you know, this, oh, how can you say that? But it's like, how can they've done that? You got to look at it from somebody else's point of view. See, this is why they want to take that shit out to school.
Right.
So
I suggest
they can keep on rewriting shit and putting and making the story how they want to make it.
For anybody who has Hulu, I suggest you go check out the 1619 Project. It's 2 episodes up right now by Nicole Hannah-Jones. I watched this 2 episodes last night, and on I think it was on the second episode, they were talking about how the slave owners were just raping the black women senseless. About how they had all of these mulatto kids running around who looked just like their slave master daddies, and they were writing laws trying to figure out, they were trying to come up with laws to say, okay, if the son is from a black mother, can they be enslaved? And the answer was yes. So yes, we can enslave these mulatto kids. We can enslave these half blacks, because they also get into the 1-drop rule. They talk about that too. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of my opinion that I'm giving you today, part of it was because of what I watched yesterday. And it's like, when I see the atrocities that y'all committed throughout the history to people of color, you deserve everything that gets to you. And now don't give me that. And I got to say this, I got to get this part out. People get so defensive because they don't want to have to be the ones to pay for what their ancestors have done. But I always ask the question of, how do you think those people felt that were having those atrocities committed against them? Did they deserve that? Did they deserve to be raped? Did they deserve to be enslaved? Did the Hispanic folk deserve to have their land taken from them through war? Texas, California, New Mexico, all that south, southwestern. Come on now. Did they deserve that? Did they deserve to have basically their whole culture erased by the Spaniards? Did they deserve that? People have these discussions and they're coming from a place of selfishness because they don't want it to happen to them.
Yeah, it's all fear-based.
It's definitely fear-based. Absolutely.
Yeah. They can, if you sitting there and you still enjoying the fruits of the history and not take account of the history and try to be a part of the change, then
just as guilty.
Yeah. And as far as, do you deserve it? It always gonna come back around. It's gonna come back around to you. You're gonna have to reap that. It's just like what we were saying about the last topic. You put something out there, you got to be ready to take what's coming from what you did.
Absolutely.
So
it's like if I robbed a bank and y'all knew I robbed the bank, and you know what I'm saying, I came and broke y'all off. Take this 50,000. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Go spend that. When the laws come back, they gonna get shot too, right?
Yeah, they getting everybody. They getting everybody. But then
I ain't having this conversation.
I didn't rob a bank.
The way, nah. The way you offset that, you offset it. The bad karma is to do right, to fix it.
Yeah. Right.
Fly, man. That is what I was eventually going to get to. You would think that with all this fear that they have, you would be trying to do exactly as you instructed.
Fear is
trying
strong.
to offset it.
Fear is strong. Yeah, being comfortable in fear is very strong. It's a strong
I understand,
thing.
But to repair, reparations, to repair some of the damage you've done from all of the rewards that you reaped off of, the backs and bones and blood of the enslaved. And I'm not going to use the term indentured servants. You fuckers enslaved our people. So,
yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Nobody's trying to hear that indentured servant shit.
So while we're on this subject, I want to play the words of an old interview of Malcolm X, and I want to get you guys' reactions on the other side of that. So
great brother Malcolm.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Here we go.
Wait a minute before I even do that, because I gotta make sure it's on the right screen. I can't have y'all seeing stuff that I don't want y'all to see.
That we don't want to see.
All right, here we go.
We're going to see some things we don't want to see. We ain't ready for it.
ChocolateBBWs.com.
Telling on yourself there, Brother Hirsch.
Hey.
We know what he likes. We know what he like. Hey, man, I'm right there with you, man. No shame, no shame. All right, man. So this is what an old interview of Precious Malcolm X. No, not Precious. He was a gangster turned brother.
A real G.
Real one. All right.
Are you anti-Semitic?
Anti-Semitic?
You've many of the things that I've read about you, and you've made a mention a couple of times about the Jews and everything, and I'm wondering if you are personally anti-Semitic.
No. How can I be anti-Semitic when the Arabs are half the Muslim world is Semitic? If I was anti-Semitic, I'd be anti-Arab and anti-everything else. No, I think that in this country, there's one mistake that the Jews make. They put themselves in a position where whenever anybody gives an objective analysis of the role that they play, they defend themselves by accusing you of being anti-Semitic. And a Negro is not anti-Semitic when he says that the man who's exploiting him in his community is white, because it is a white man who owns all the stores. Now, is it an accident that these whites who own these stores are Jewish? If it's an accident, then the fact that he says the Jew on the corner is exploiting me isn't an anti-Semitic statement. It's just more descriptive of the man who's exploiting him.
Very powerful words.
What
say you, brothers?
You know, one of the episodes we were talking about the Kanye and the Kyrie thing.
Mm-hmm.
I had brought up that it was like a high-ranking person in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lady. She said it came out of her mouth in an old interview. She was like, yeah, they use that every time to
further push themselves along.
You know, they anytime you bring something up with something they doing, they throw the anti-Semitic thing out.
Is that like the black card?
She said that. Yeah, that's their version of the black card.
It's the black card. Hey, man, you didn't already messed up. We ain't supposed to ever acknowledge the black card. There you go, playing the black card. Man, what are you talking about? Hirsch gave the game away.
They play they do what they do so much that it ain't even a white card.
Yeah.
Right. It's just a game.
The whole deck is white.
The whole game, right?
Cards is white.
The cards is white. Shit.
We own the game and the game maker.
So, I mean, I guess how I would respond to that is, now I understand why they wanted that brother dead. Now I understand why he got a lot of hate that he got. And again, if you listen to what he's saying, he's not anti-Semitic. He's giving, and let me tie this together real quick. That was also in the 1619 Project when they were talking about race. They were talking about a couple that wanted to get married. They wanted to, an interracial couple, they wanted to get married, but when it came to filling out the application, they didn't want to check the box for race. Now they had the option to check other, but they like, no, we don't even want to check other. Like, why is race even a thing? You know, it shouldn't even be a thing. So basically, I guess what I'm getting at is how Malcolm described it in the video is basically saying, I'm just giving you an accurate description of who's screwing us over. Because he said, hey, y'all own all the stores. And he said whites. So he didn't say, he said, you white, but you just so happen to be Jewish. I'm giving you an accurate description of who I'm talking about. So it's the essential thing of in America, if someone commits a crime, the first thing the police are asking, what's the description of the perp, right? Okay. Well, because we live in a multicultural, somewhat of a democracy. Yeah, this person was black. This person was white. This person was Asian. So at some point, unfortunately, I guess race does play a part in the fabric of America because you have so many mixed people, and then everybody's screwing everybody. So I mean, everybody got something in them. Yeah, everybody over here just mixed up. You call basically mutts over here, a bunch of mutts over here.
Yeah, but when again, you know, we say yeah, they was black or they was white or Hispanic because you could look you can't just look at a white person and just say, oh, it was Jewish.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
It's black people that's Jewish.
Yes, right. That's true.
There's all kind of people that's Arabic. Who believe in Islam, so
yeah.
You can't really use that.
I mean, so you saying Mr. Malcolm shouldn't have been able to use that, or are you saying?
No, I'm agreeing with what he's saying. When he said that, you know, you just I'm saying white people, but you just so happen to be Jewish. When he's saying Jewish, he's making it smaller to who he exactly talking
specifically to who is owning all the stuff.
He's making it specific.
Just being a little bit more specific. You know, it ain't wrong to call a dog. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's who's doing the barking. Then that's the fucking. You know what I'm saying?
You get more specific with dog when you start to say cocker
spaniel. It's a German Shepherd.
Right. Yeah. It's not a dolphin over here barking. It's
right.
If you say it was a dog, and you look around the neighborhood and there's all kind of different type of dogs, and then it's like, which kind of dog? Then now you get specific. Oh yeah,
pit bull.
Pit bull.
They bit my ass.
That damn rockwaller.
Yeah, I definitely, you know, I guess they would call us biased because we all black, all people of color. So it's, of course you're gonna agree with him, and then I could throw that back in your face and say, yeah, I mean, if you're a white Trump supporter, of course you're gonna agree with everything Trump says.
Right.
So everybody is biased in some form. Everybody has things they agree with, and you know, we are just giving our perspective on things. So.
But see, that one time they bring something up like that, to me, it's just a determinant of what the real talk should be about.
Right.
He's trying to talk about how we, you know, fix things, and this when we basically talking about what he's talking about, and it's like, of course you're gonna believe that because you're black, man. That's not what the conversation about. Conversation is it's about right or wrong. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to. We complicate shit. Human beings do.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, anybody else have anything to say about that?
Nah.
All right. So I'm gonna go to the next one. It's you know. So if we did Brother Malcolm, then we got to do Brother Martin. So,
the great Brother Martin.
You almost said it wrong, but we
gonna he's gonna say Malcolm Martin. Malcolm Martin. Malcolm Martin X.
Martin. Jesus Christ. All right.
America freed the slaves in 1863 through the Emancipation Proclamation of Abraham Lincoln, but gave the slaves no land or nothing in reality, and as a matter of fact, to get started on. At the same time, America was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that there was a willingness to give the white peasants from Europe an economic base. And yet it refused to give its black peasants from Africa, who came here involuntarily in chains and had worked free for 244 years, any kind of economic base. And so emancipation for the Negro was really freedom to hunger. It was freedom to the winds and rains of heaven. It was freedom without food to eat or land to cultivate, and therefore it was freedom and famine at the same time.
Freedom and famine at the same time.
Yeah,
When you
that's not freedom at all. You know what I'm saying? And I think it was well thought out. They knew we're gonna free everybody, but at the end of the day, they still dependent on the slave owners and shit. Like, what are they gonna do? They don't have shit. They don't have a language. They don't have they don't have a linkage. A linkage to their homeland. Like, how are they free? They just, you're free now. Like, what the fuck does that mean?
Well, that's because it was never a plan to give them nothing.
Yeah.
The plan was to free them so we can weaken the South, so we can take the
South back.
Yeah,
they knew it wasn't no freedom. Wasn't no real freedom.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't like Abraham Lincoln was like, "Yeah, I'm going to be a good guy,
right,
and be a good be a good Earth citizen, and and free people who shouldn't be in this position in the first place." No, I'm a
take away the economic strength.
Exactly what's driving that. He said he basically did simple math. What's driving them? These slaves, they not picking their own cotton. They not, doing everything themselves. They got free labor from these people. If I take that away, that cripples them. Now I can go in full force. Even recruit some of them.
Yep.
So it wasn't ever about making sure that they had good economic legs to stand on. It's about, man, let me go ahead and cripple the op so I can do what I got to do.
Abraham Lincoln was originally trying to convince black people to leave before he did the Emancipation Proclamation. He was trying to get black folks to leave, and what it was to leave the country. And what it was is some of the black folks, I forget who had the meeting with him per se, but what was said was that, no, this is as much our country as it is yours. Basically telling them,
you already removed that linkage back to Africa. You already took away the language. Yeah.
Yes. We're not going nowhere.
Right.
We want, at that point, they've been so many years removed.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's like, how can I go back there? I don't even know where to go back.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about that place.
2-3 generations removed.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
It's easy for you to say go back to Africa. There's a lot of different places in Africa. I don't know where to start.
Where am I
don't
going,
even know
right?
how to speak. I don't know how to speak the language.
Exactly.
How I'm gonna even deal with?
I don't know what tribe I came from. Can you tell me that?
Hirsch, out of the three of us, Hirsch would have a better time tracking down his ancestral, where he actually come from, because he is half Nigerian.
Yeah, for that side, I can go directly there now. Right. I can go meet them now.
But it's easy for Hirsch because his father is strict from there. He's straight from there. You know what I mean?
Well, for me and you, it'd be like
our father, our mother, and our father is not directly connected to the source.
Right. Not at all.
We gotta do some way backtracking.
That's what I like to do for my mother's side.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, these are the things that I think tend to get missed and overlooked with white people when they're having these conversations. They they are coming at it from an imperialist point of view, and what I mean by that is they they think they have the answers to everything without actually listening to the people who have been oppressed. Okay, and then they try to say, oh, well, how are you oppressed? You have running water, don't you? You have a job, you have a car, you're not homeless. How are you oppressed? And it's like,
I think they don't want to hear. They don't want to hear.
that's it.
It's
That's
not that. It's not that. Um, it's so imperialistic that they just feel like they know everything. They don't want to know. They
they
don't want to
care.
give us
Yeah.
what really matter.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we got ran, and that matters too. You know, having those necessities, but there's other things that y'all are blocking certain, more so our type of people to have,
It's the power
and it's very
and
clear.
resources. Power and
very-
resources are two of the things that they don't want to share. They don't want to share resources with us. They don't want to share. They damn sure don't want to share power. You know, I mean, look how they reacted when oh yeah, we elected Barack Obama, and it's like, well, I mean, if you really, not to get conspiratorial, but if you really know what's going on, you know, the president doesn't really run the country,
Right.
and to be honest, the only way you change what's going on in politics is to get rid of special interest. If you could remove special interest groups and get rid of the bribing, which they call lobbying, if you got rid of
You
that,
already know how I feel about that.
absolutely. If you got
We
rid of
already
that,
know.
we would have a lot of change. How are the politicians? How's a politician going to do their job when they constantly got companies like I don't know, General Electric in their ear, or companies like the big three all in their ear. Hey, we need this tax break. We need this. You know, close this loophole. And then how the hell are they going to do the work of the average citizen if we're not funding it? We're not funding their campaign. We can't give them millions of dollars because we ain't got it. As a collective, we probably could, but it's like,
Man, they got this shit all sold up.
exactly.
And it's a system where one hand wash the other one.
Yeah. Yep.
That's the biggest corporations that had their own interests. Let's go to another sector. Go to media,
Yeah.
and then we go to pharmaceutical. All of them got they wash the other hand. You want to go to prison, prison industrial type things. We can go there too. It's like all of them wash each other hand, man. It's like we already know corporations is the one who mainly run things because these politicians, they got money, but they ain't got enough money to be having $1 million, having $1 million in their campaign, millions and millions of dollars for campaigns.
Yeah.
They got backing.
Yeah.
And a lot of these people you're not gonna know because it's private. Like it's not gonna be on record. Right. So you're not gonna be able to pinpoint who it is exactly.
It's a lot of dark money, as they say. They call it dark money, where they hide it in those super PACs where they don't have to tell you who the donors are. They don't have to tell that by law. They don't. And you
pull
think
it
they're
all
gonna
together.
Right. You think they're gonna pass a law to say, hey, you gotta tell us where this money came from? No. And I wouldn't be surprised if they laundered money through these PACs too.
Of course.
Yeah.
So, shit.
They just call it something else. They call it just like, they like to call lobbying, but it's basically bribing. They call it something else. We do it. It's called
laundering,
money laundering, or we bribing. They call us bribing. They say we bribe.
Yeah, they just put a.
If you're a regular person, you bribing.
Put a nice little title on it.
If you're a rich white man with a bow tie and a cigar, it's lobbying. But if you look like you, a nigger.
No. You got a corporation behind you is lobbying.
Right.
Corporation who that makes money.
Mm-hmm.
They wash each other's hands, man.
Yeah, it's all fucking corrupt.
And that's why I say it's gonna be hard for them to come off that because they've been used to that ever since John D. Rockefeller.
Yeah.
So it's like they like not gonna want to come off that, and they so afraid that what's gonna happen when things turn. What they going? That's just how power is, and that's just what the energy in the universe does. It's gonna come back around.
Yeah.
They just keep prolonging that shit by doing little shit.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's gonna come back. It's gonna end up coming back around, and y'all gonna have to take that.
Take it hard.
Take what's coming.
They're gonna have to eat that.
Take
bro.
it hard.
They're gonna have to eat that. I think it's turning now. They trying to hold on to that shit.
Yeah, they trying to hold on to it.
I would like to see that in my lifetime.
That's what that Capitol riot was about.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a certain demographic of them scared.
Yeah.
But that got something to do with that's the media part of this whole thing to cause confusion.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make scare campaigns to make these certain people. That's how they control people and make them do what they need them to do. Yeah. Like here's a scare campaign. If you don't do, and Trump was the head of that.
Fear is a stronger motivator than pretty much anything else.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying go back to when you was like, man, you would think they would want to do right and clear that karma. It's because fear. The fear itself is what scared them to want to even fix the karma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I guess they're naive and don't realize it's gonna hit you regardless. It's just you may not be the one to pay for it, but it may be your descendants.
And the funny thing about it is they do it. So they do what they do because they feel like I got to make sure that my people later down the line is okay.
Mm-hmm.
But you keep doing what you're doing, and it ain't gonna be okay. Because if you keep on kicking this shit down the line and you don't fix it,
it's gonna land on somebody.
It's gonna be a problem. See, it's already one of the things that's gonna happen is it's already about to be a brown country.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, they can't stop that. So
it's gonna happen, and not necessarily just gotta be black people. It's gonna be all kind of other Hispanics, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
America's gonna start to reflect the global community. Like it's more people of color on the planet. So
yeah.
Oh well, we're gonna move on to our last topic of the day, and then we couldn't let the show go by without talking about I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, Tyre Nichols. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. The young brother that was beaten to death by 5 black officers.
Yeah.
And I can honestly just say, look, man, police brutality is police brutality. It doesn't matter what color the person who is, but this is the part where I've always tried to stress that, yeah, black people commit crimes against people. Granted, we commit crimes against each other. Granted, and it doesn't. I look at it the same way as if it was a white officer that did this to me. That's how I see it. Now, some people, they'll let their bias show and like, oh, well, it's black. It's just black on black. No, man. Like, man, because you doing the racist white man's job for them. They like, hey, we need them dead. If they want black people dead, hey, let's send their own in there to kill them. I mean, shit, y'all basically doing their job for them anyway. Oh, I gotta go smoke my op. I gotta, I don't even know if they use op no more, but whatever. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Y'all beef with each other over whatever. Doesn't matter. The fact is, you still killing your own kind for whatever reason, and then you wonder why the hell our population hasn't increased. Everybody else's is going up except ours. As a matter of fact, ours is backsliding. They used to say we was 13% of the population. Now we 12% off the last census. It's like, damn, we ain't increasing at all. And we've been here at the start. We've been here from the beginning. It's like our population ain't increasing because we part of it.
There's a lot of factors that go into that.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. It's not just that, but that's not helping.
It's not helping at all.
So
looking at the situation, I break it down to a couple things. When looking at the situation, we cannot forget that there is racism with police officers. No doubt, no question. You know, but I separate that from this by saying that it's a problem with the police and the general population or the community. I think that police need a better relationship with the community, or the community gonna have to step up on their own to be able to learn how to take
kind
after
of police
itself.
themselves. Yeah.
Take after themselves. Not to say the take away presence of the police, but we need to come together to be able to keep our own streets safe. And that means even checking somebody who wrong for doing what they doing, even if it's a police officer.
Yeah.
And another thing I notice people will say is, "Oh man, look how fast they jail these black officers versus the white officers." But we got to separate this case from other cases. Is all those cases in Memphis? Nah. You know what I mean? This person in Memphis, I think the police chief, she a black lady, right?
I'm not
I know
sure.
she a lady. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So
you know
she
she
did.
A lady.
Yeah, I heard it was a woman.
No, that's
she a
how you
black
said
lady.
it.
I think she a black. I think she a black lady. She did it how it was supposed to be done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, but it's stigma behind that too. But I'm not gonna get into that. But yeah.
But I just feel like she did it how she's supposed to do, and we can't mix them two. You know what I'm saying? And just say, oh, we know they do that, but this is Memphis. In this case, it's in Memphis. In Memphis, they did it right by doing what they had to do and to get rid of them.
Yeah.
But we need to look at about how we be hating each other, how we don't like each other like this.
Well, that was LeBron's tweet. He got into a little bit of backlash. People, backlash, to me, that word is getting played out because it's like it's a backlash every time you disagree with something somebody says.
Yeah, anytime you got your own opinion, it's a backlash.
I think people are emotional, and that's to happen with a situation like this. So they're emotional about it, and if they don't want to hear what they feel like is the right thing, they're gonna react in that fashion.
Yeah,
but I don't see the lies. I don't see the lies that he's telling when he said that. You know what I mean?
He said we are our own worst enemy. I don't see no lie in that either.
We can be.
It's not true all the time, but we do have an issue to where it's like. I'm gonna just be straight. I mean, I've talked about this in my music. I've talked about this, period. Like, they taught us to hate each other. Like, they've conditioned us to
one of
say,
the tools.
Yeah. Like, nah, house nigga, field nigga, separation. There was the division right there. That's kind of where some of it started.
Right.
But
the thing about Master, he can't be around to watch everything.
Right.
So I'm gonna put something in place to where it's gonna run without me being there.
Yeah, and the best thing to do when you can't watch all these people is to make sure that they ain't on the same page.
Exactly.
That's
stitch on themselves.
Exactly. The house nigga was very important to Master.
Yep.
Because it's too. What Kanye said about slavery, I will say this: it was a whole bunch of them, and it was only a couple of them in that house. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of slaves, and then there's these white people who running everything.
Right.
Could they ransack that motherfucker? A lot of them, some people did. We don't hear about it in the history.
Yeah, I was about to say a lot of them did though.
We don't hear about it in history books. which did when Kanye say slavery is a choice, why they ain't do nothing. A lot of people did. We don't hear about that.
Right.
A lot of people did, and we also got to take account of the brainwashing that they did by using fear and violence. But we be sometimes detrimental to our own self. That's why I keep on saying, we keep saying on here, like, shit, man, you gotta work together. That's the only way we're gonna fix a lot of shit with us. Yeah. You know what I mean? We gotta have to work together and figure it out. And police, no matter if they black or white, they gonna need to have a better relationship with the community that they work in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't come in a community that you're working in and already have a view of people beforehand already before you go there. And everybody's not like that. A lot of people really don't want the shit that's happening in their neighborhood to stop. They just don't know how to stop it, or they're afraid to.
Well, not only that, it's like if you have conversations and you talk to people about, hey, we need to do something about this, and then it all sounds good in theory until it's time to put it into action, and then people don't want to stand up to the rough gangsters in the neighborhood. You don't want to stand up to the young folks in the neighborhood because you worried about them coming and shooting up your house. You worried about them breaking into your shit, and then it's like, let's see, and how is that any different? How is that any different from what the white folks was doing in slavery? Hey, I'm finna hang your wife and your child to keep your ass in line. How's that any different?
Yeah.
You terrorizing people, fear, and we talked, like we just mentioned, fear. That's the biggest thing to stop, or it's either it'll stop you from doing something and keep you in line.
It's a very strong emotion, man. It'll keep you from doing it'll keep you from being great. You can have all the greatness in you, but if somebody instill a fear in you, it will undermine all that greatness that you got. You can believe that. You could take that to the bank. I'm willing to put money on that. If you get instilled with a certain type of fear, it will stop you from getting to that greatness, and you can have everything you need in you to get there. But if that fear is there, it'll stop you every time. It's very strong. You got to learn how to beat it.
Yeah. I mean, man, I feel sorry for what happened to the brother, and unfortunately, this happens more than it happens more than what gets reported.
Yeah.
And he's just the latest case. It's unfortunate, and the Memphis, I got to read that part too. The Memphis police has disbanded the Scorpion unit, so I'm assuming that's the unit that was used to end this young man's life. And I mean, us here in Detroit, man, we've had something similar, like with the narco squads and
like gang units and
they had gang units, and they used to terrorize us too. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I done been slammed on the hood or slammed up against the wall. Fortunately, I'm still alive to tell the tale, but it could have easily went south. It could have easily went sideways, and it's.
They definitely stopped me going to school one time.
Yeah.
I remember it was which they, thinking back, I won't blame them by stopping me. Mm-hmm. They didn't do no more than they was kind of pressing me a little bit, but I understand why they stopped. They didn't have to press me talking too much, but I could understand why they would stop and say, "Hey, what you doing now?" Because the way my schedule was, and I think that year we had a whole lot of kids in that school, so they was like press on how to schedule everybody, and I had this schedule. I came in a little later, and so I was in a neighborhood where it was activity, on the way to school, so they was like pressing me about that, and I'm like, yo, look, I'm going to school, backpack, books, school. You want us to take us? Hell no. Nah. I'm going to school. I'm gonna get there. You ain't got to worry about that.
Because you did not want to be dropped off.
No,
at school by them. You did not want to be seen getting out that car.
That ain't a good look.
That's not a good look.
From where we was coming up at that time.
Shit. I knew
maybe
that.
Even now. It just wasn't a good look to do.
Still not a good look.
But
I ain't getting no car in cop car voluntarily.
Yeah. I mean, not only the fact what somebody else may think, but shit, I don't know what y'all up to.
Exactly.
They could take you and take you to an alley and beat the hell out of you and leave you for dead.
Man, I'm cool, man. I'm almost there. I walk.
Yeah. So, condolences to the family going through this. Condolences to all of the families that have to go through this garbage of police brutality, and it just in this particular one. I mean, now bear with me for a second. I'm gonna zoom out. We zoomed in by talking about the case. I'm gonna zoom out and look at the bigger picture here. Now, I'm not talking about the death. I'm not talking about the death itself. I'm talking about how it's been presented. I have to say this before I say what I'm going to say, because people will take it out of context and run with it. So zooming out, taking the case for what it is, not personally, I think it was a test case. It's a test case to see, okay, we've seen so many black people get outraged when white cops kill black folks. Now let's make this one national news. Let's get this one to get national attention. Let's see how they react to this. Because you got to understand the mind of your enemy. They always trying to be 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 steps ahead of you. And they want to see, okay, let's see, where's the marches? Where's the outrage? When it's
Black Lives Matter.
Exactly. So that's what I think is going on here to some degree. Not saying that of course, obviously we all feel for the young man losing his life. We don't want to see that shit at all.
You think they pick and choose? Because I'm sure this ain't the first time it's happening. You think they pick and choose certain cases to kind of really push in mainstream media?
I do, actually.
Outside of the media part, you know what? They've done a lot of things, man. Higher up people. So I couldn't exactly rule that out. But I will say that I'm not totally sold on that. I really do believe that these guys, the little clique that they put together, their little task force they put together, they just known to be rough. They probably known to be rough like that and do people like that. They just ain't got caught doing what they was doing, or ain't got no attention.
Because Memphis is a rough city, so they was probably put together just for that purpose, just like in Detroit.
And that's the other part I didn't want to leave out too, is to where the cops, yes, you have your idiots, you have your aggressive ones, but some of them have to be that aggressive because of the environment that you live in, that you are working in. You can't be trying to patrol trying to patrol that area like you would like in a suburbs.
Right. And let's be clear. This ain't no
condoning.
Absolutely not. Man, them niggas need to fry for that shit. You know what I'm saying? But and it ain't no but. I just know that I really think that them niggas probably been doing shit that they shouldn't have had to been, using this type of force. They probably been using that force on people before, and they got away with it. Nobody really came out and sued them or got back at them.
Because they too comfortable doing it. If you watch the video, it's like some normal shit. But, I think...
No, go ahead, Hirsch.
Okay. No, I'm just saying, like, just police in general, man, they just lack empathy. Like, just holding this man up and just giving him haymakers, everything you got, you know what I'm saying? Like, what if that's somebody, you know what I'm saying? Just picture it as is really somebody that you can to.
Yeah.
Is that the only way to get him to, you know what I'm saying?
You would want mercy shown to you, being on the opposite end of that. but you wouldn't show mercy to the person you're inflicting this upon.
Because they ain't looking at them like that. They look, that's why I say not just black police officers, police in general need a better relationship with the community that they in. They black and they still looking at them in a certain way, like you ain't shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to be fair, and I'll never defend the police, but I mean, our communities are. It's not even just because I'm not picking on the black community when I say this. Our society has to be better. Our society is terrible now. Yeah, what we talking about? We talking about what's happening in our community because that's kind of what we focus on this show. But trust and believe, there's plenty drama going on in them white communities. It's plenty of shit that's going on that's not getting talked about.
See, that's what I know. You know what I mean? Like, I lived in both.
Right.
So I've seen the police come just as much as probably the black community, almost as much, but all different type of reasons too. But what you're saying about society just need to get a grip and get things in order. It also made me ask, like how did they get all the way in this position in the police force? Is Memphis having a problem with hiring police? Are they having a shortage? And what made me ask that question is because I remember watching Cocaine Cowboys documentary, right, about detailing about Miami in the 80s, and I remember they were saying that they were so overwhelmed, and a lot of officers, they quit, they retire early, and so force was dwindling, and they had to figure out how to get numbers back to be able to combat all this shit that's going on.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I remember
shit lowered. They they lowered standards. They kept lowering till the bar was at the fucking floor.
So they
anybody who wanted to join,
yeah, you ain't on drugs at this moment. You know what I mean?
Oh man,
you ain't smoking no crack today.
If you ain't smoking today,
we
don't care about yesterday.
You ain't smoking in the last 3 or 4 days, dog. You might have a spot on the team. But that brought corruption. You know what I mean? A lot of corruption and stuff. So that's the other thing we got to do with our police force, because we spending our money. You know what I mean? Our tax dollars on this. We got to vet these people a little bit better. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
police is being a police officer. That's a real duty to do. You know what I mean? We got to make sure we got the right people to do that.
Yeah, it's definitely
obviously
not
that's black
job.
white.
Yeah,
that's
any color.
Yeah. All right, well, we're gonna wrap this show up. We we told you in the beginning it was gonna start off a little fun and it was gonna get serious and so
but it was good. So I think they held on. They will hold on.
If you nothing. I'm not gonna discourage anyone. Just make sure
let's let them do what they do.
I know. Make sure you like and subscribe. You can follow us on social medias. We should have a guest next week, depending on everything. If everything pans out,
everything's in the clear.
Right. So we're still trying to get confirmation. And we're just. All I can ask is just like I say every week when we, leaving the show, just be careful out here, man. Because it's as much as we would want the communities to be better. We tell everybody to be safe out here and all of that. It's a dangerous world, okay? And
it always have been.
Yeah, and you can have the mindset of saying you want things to change, but one person can't do it. It has to be a collective effort. And if more people can get on board, I mean, okay, I'm going to just make this short and sweet. y'all follow us anyway. So let's follow something positive to
Right.
like fix society.
Something worth
Right.
following for real.
Right.
Yeah.
Something to stand on that's solid.
Good.
I'll say this, man. It all starts with you. If we all do good by ourselves
Lead by
individually,
example.
and it'll spread out to everybody else. Love yourself and love everybody else. I think it's an order to life. I think if you believe in anything besides yourself and what's going on in the world, then you probably believe in a God or something. And I believe that's first, you second, your family after that, and then the glow, everything outside
Community,
that comes in community, and you be a good global citizen at the end of all that. So man, love yourself, love your people, love the community, and love the world, man. But do right. Start in your household, and then spread out.
Yeah, because a lot of times it only takes one person, to influence many. If one of them cops would have been like, "Oh man, we doing too much," you know what I'm saying? We need to calm down.
Right.
Brother might have still been alive. So
yeah, if somebody wasn't wasn't a coward.
Yep.
Excuse me, and said, you know what? Stop. This is too much.
Yep.
You would have at least been alive, man.
Yeah.
Sure.
So none of us have a crystal ball, and we have no idea what news stories are gonna break this week, and we don't know. We can't predict the future. So I'm just hoping that when we come on here next week, God willing, that we don't have to talk about another incident like this or anything similar to it, man, because it's getting old and it's tiring, and it's just, I don't know, it's heartbreaking. And I use empathy because I wouldn't want this to happen to me or anybody I know. I don't want people to have to go through this. I mean, we all gonna leave this place. Granted, that can't be stopped, but it's the way in which you leave here. Just brutality, just to be murdered. There's a modern day lynching, literally. So, whatever, man. Just try to be better out here. Like, just try.
Yeah.
And if you encounter negativity, I'm just tell you what I do personally. When I encounter negativity, I don't let that latch on to my energy. I'm like, okay, this is what they doing over here. Okay. I can't change your mind. I can't convince you otherwise, because if I come bringing positive energy to your negative energy, it's going to make you more negative.
Yeah.
Oh, you think you better than me? You did. That's exactly what you're going to get hit with. All I'm trying to do is be positive with you, brother or sister.
Listen, man,
There's a different way to look at it.
Yes, man. I pray every day I get up and go out this door, protect my energy, protect my spirit.
Yep.
That's every day. You got to do that. You got to do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to sign off and try to get back here next week. And well, ain't no try. I mean, we going to, God willing. God willing.
I think you will.
Yeah.
We doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even though the delivery is not always.
It's not as polished,
Yeah,
right?
it's a little rough around the edges a little bit here and there.
The message is still
look,
there.
I think it was your sister that commented on our last episode.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I made a conscious effort to maybe not swear as much. I maybe let out like maybe 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
But
Hey, man,
y'all swore more than I did on this episode.
I'm gonna say this.
We gotta start a swear jar.
We definitely doing that.
Oh,
we don't need
man,
no
I'll
more
be
money.
broke.
We don't need no more money coming out. I can't promise.
Yeah.
The proceeds can go to marketing.
Woo, boy. Yeah, because we need to market the show.
It's gonna come out our pocket anyway, so why would I put it in the jar?
Oh man.
The market come out our pocket anyway.
Just know I tried. Now I can't promise it's going to be like this next week.
Listen, man, I'm never gonna be any type of nun or anything like that.
Right.
So,
oh man. Well,
just trying to speak the language of the folks we trying to reach.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I know we cannot overdo it.
Oh, we definitely overdo it.
We can at least not overdo it though.
Yeah, I was tame this episode. I was a little tame this episode.
No, we was tame.
So
we was tame.
Yeah, I don't think we.
I ain't say the B word.
Right. All right. Well, we're gonna end the show, and I'm gonna do something controversial. Let's thank the all-seeing eye.
It's The Rock.
Look, man, y'all have a safe week, man. Y'all be safe out there, and we're gonna try to get this episode to you as soon as possible. Shut up.
This episode.
You're gonna have this episode by.
Yep. Okay. Y'all be smooth. See y'all next week. Peace out.
Peace.